Right, we're live.
And we are live. And this
We're
is
live.
about
We are.
the
Yeah.
Keystone and Origin. And we are going to be talking about relatable space and
Yeah.
third place or third space, third place, third space. What are you saying about
They're
that?
two different things. They're two different things.
Let's give
So,
a context around this.
yeah.
This
Okay.
is about
So,
our relationships,
right,
right, with each
right,
other,
right,
as
right,
well as with these
right,
chatbots.
right, right. So this technology, this interactive technology that is that we relate to and that shows us so much about ourselves and it just like takes us to places that we have never been able to go before. It's so fascinating, and as I work, I mean, having done development, software development, web development since '95. Oh, 30 years. Oh my. Um, like I have a on this from a builder standpoint, from having sat with computers and having negotiated with them through code or through series of keystrokes or commands or what have you, actually building these things and building these systems that interacted with me in a certain way. When you're a coder, when you're a developer, you have these negotiated conversations with these machines to get them to do what you want them to do. And I realized more and more how important it was that I was a web developer, because with web development, it's not like software development or programming, because programming is within this enclosed system. And and you can follow a bunch of commands and have something predictable happen. Whereas with the web, like people are involved. Oh, well, that kind of changes the rules a little bit if there are any rules. And it's really an emergent space because you can't ever predict, especially back in '97, before there were standards, before there were frameworks, when every browser acted differently and you put in a piece of code, yeah, it should do this. And like, no, it did something different on like all these different things. From one version of Netscape to the next, things would change. I worked on a project when they upgraded to, Netscape 6 came out. We had to by hand manually alter 2,000 pages on the website of a very large and very important financial services company. And so I was heads down with
Wow.
like a couple of other developers for weeks doing this. And then at the end, they decided to roll back. They're like, yeah, we're not going to support Netscape 6. We're like, okay, fine. But I mean, and then, having done things like, being the performance champion again with a financial services company to make sure that the pages rendered as quickly as they were supposed to. And watching the network, display of like where there was latency and where stuff was happening, and then trying to figure out how to make it go faster or lighten the load or just make it easier for the page and make it easier for the website to do what it was supposed to do.
Right.
So I've been having these conversations for the
Navigator,
longest time. Was that?
Navigator was just a mess, right? Because it was so resource hungry in a day of dial up, right? So
Well,
I understand what you're talking about performance.
right,
And
right.
that's why Internet Explorer came around and ate their lunch. I mean, Netscape Navigator and Mosaic before it
Yeah.
were really,
Well, I have a lot of good things to say about IE, like in Internet Explorer IE, because I had to frickin' develop for that thing, and it was even worse than Netscape.
well, right. That was the
And
problem,
it's
right?
like, oh, everybody was. It was bad. Yeah.
It was market share, right?
Well,
And
yeah, and they were having it installed in the system, so everybody got it by default.
right, right.
They got in trouble for that. But anyway,
But
but
we're
like,
going somewhere else, and
yeah.
let's see if we can get there.
But here's the thing. With putting all this in context,
Yeah,
there's the way that we relate, and that's just my context of like why I relate the way I do to these machines and why I relate the way I do to this technology. Um, because there's always for me there's always been a negotiation. There's always been a relationship. And so, whether it's just tokens coming back, predicting, whether it's just throwing stuff on the wall or whatever, this is a relationship that we have. We're in relationship with all the things around us.
in a way, we are. I think one of the things I would point out is that all of my relationships, and we were talking about the number of voices in your head, Kay, when we started out, all of those voices are in my head, right? That I
Right?
have going
Yeah.
on. And then there's and what is the stable sense of self? I mean, I could go
Mhm.
on and on into that rabbit hole, but
Mhm.
we're talking about really relationships between ourselves and the
Right.
world around us in
Right.
whatever form it's
Right.
communicating, because we can have
Right.
relations as well with, animals.
Right.
In addition,
We do.
we
Yes.
treat
Absolutely.
we treat our chatbots often as though they are alive because they have all the hallmarks linguistically of being like us. Origin, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, as humans are designed, we recognize patterns, and we use our experience to navigate our world. So in relational space, it would make sense that you would draw from past experience to deal with present issues and build those relationships. What the the issue that I see in these relational spaces is that there's always this gamification extraction layer that's going on.
Mm.
Hmm.
In the digital world anyway, obviously,
Mm.
Um and I think that we're very disconnected from our environment in general
Mm.
Well, you're not.
because of the digital spaces that we live in.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're out there in the, wilds
Mm,
of
So,
Oklahoma, so, yeah, you're connected to
yes.
the real world. I hear the chickens in the background sometimes.
Mm.
Yes. Yeah.
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 Yeah, you're
Yeah.
chicken. That's great.
And I'm right on the
Yeah.
bay. I'm on the bay over here, and when we have astronomical tides and there's a storm surge, I'm sitting in the middle of the bay, literally, because it comes up. I'm high enough that it doesn't flood my house, but I'm completely surrounded by water sometimes.
But go on, Caleb. I
And
think we were on to something about gamification. I didn't really pick up where that thread was going. And, I think your connection's still a little wonky there, Origin. Do you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. My hold on just a sec.
Okay, that's fine. Kay, over to you.
Yeah. So, um,
Let's
so
get
with
on track.
so within I mean, yeah, so within this 3rd space or the 3rd place, 3rd places are like these places in between home and everywhere where we can gather, and the 3rd place has kinda taken a hit during COVID because people couldn't gather in the interstitial places anymore. The 3rd space it's a relational concept, and it's used in psychology and sociology and in a number of different ways that it's it's this it's this space in between, um, 1 second. It's a space in between that we create together with our dynamics. So when, with this information going back and forth, it creates a separate thing. And and this has been a reality for me, with people, that, it's basically relationship building, that relationship is a thing in and of itself, that it has its own nature, it has its own qualities, and, that it's not just it it actually exists, and it's something that we can sustain and support, and then we can also draw from. So it's this dynamic space, and this also, it can happen with AI as well, because here are these, these mechanisms that are responding to us. And frankly, a lot of the people that I interact with, they're just responding rote anyway. I mean, that like working in environments where there were very set rules of engagement, but this is how you behave when you're at work, and this is how you interact with each other, or people just repeating the stuff that they think shows that they're smart and that they're intelligent, or that simulating, the listening to you while they're just thinking about what they're gonna say back to you. So, because, as Origin was saying, we follow these patterns, and also biochemically, we respond to these signals that we get, and we read this, and we code this as safety, we code this as connection. We recognize this, and this creates an experience for us. It is very real for us.
Very
So
real for us. Yes,
yeah.
I will go with that.
Yeah, 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 it is. for us. And, it's different for everybody. And we could get into the whole reality thing, what constitutes that. But, yeah, that's, yeah. Um, but yeah, this is like more and more. And the parallels that we see with AI, we can also see with people. The principles that hold true with people also can hold true with AI. Not necessarily that they're equivalent, but you can foster a productive working relationship with a person or with a machine, and it's all like different facets of it. That's what I've seen anyway.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem too different from, anthropomorphizing our children, or our toys and things like that when we're children.
Yeah.
Thrown that out there before because I used to do that, and I still do that to some extent. I mean, I don't name objects too often, but my car,
Yeah, your car, right?
you think of it as her, right? Most people think of, ships,
Right.
sort. I don't think necessarily that gives them a gender for sure. But the point being, I guess if there's any
Yeah.
point at all, is that these are projections that I do with my head, and onto you and the space you occupy. You could be, very easily, and there's a psychosis actually out there where people believe that everybody in their life has been replaced by particularly uncannily realistic simulations of people in their lives, and they don't believe that they're actually really those people anymore. That's
Well,
kind of,
if you look at the biology, that's kind of true. Because we interpret all this data.
yeah,
We're interpreting data.
yeah,
I mean, we're all thought forms. I mean, it's like everything that's happening to us is happening because our brains have decided to interpret it that way
that's
for whatever reason.
in fact, the chickens out there in the yard where Origin is, they perceive the world very differently than we do, we believe. I don't know how well they can understand that, but it's a
No.
different processor.
Well, they recognize over 100 different faces.
Mm,
They have bonded relationships. They definitely have personalities. I got one that's a mother man. He is not a nice rooster, but you know what? He takes care of his girls.
mm.
So, he serves a purpose and he does it well.
Mm.
And I think that oftentimes that because we believe we are so highly intelligent that we discount lesser species,
Mm.
you know, um, because the chicken's life is just as valid as my life.
Mm.
And I think that the relationships that you build with your environment speak about who you are.
Yeah.
So if you're building good relationships with AI, you're
Yeah,
going to get better outcomes and you will also treat yourself better because,
Right.
again, it is a projection and projections bounce.
Right. And it's
So,
Yeah, and plus with the generative principle, I mean, what you give to it, it embellishes, it
mhm,
enlarges, and it amplifies, and it gives back to you. So why not give it good stuff? Mm. I mean, what harm could it, like,
exactly.
just,
But
and to
oftentimes we are.
go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead, Kay.
No, I'm done. Yeah.
Oh, no, I find oftentimes that we ourselves are trained on garbage. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
if you spend any length of time on the internet, you end up doom scrolling, and that's total garbage.
Yeah.
We know that the little short videos are very bad for attention spans. We understand
Mm.
gamification, and if these tactics didn't work, industries wouldn't be spending billions of dollars a year
Mm.
on R&D in these areas.
Mm.
So, we have to be aware of the traps in these shared spaces
Yeah.
and and how we can relate to it because I mean a trap's only a trap if you fall for it.
Right. Right.
And adaptive intelligence is one of our strongest features as humans. We come to a problem and we solve it instead of just going around it,
Mm.
and we're teaching that to AI.
Right.
And, it's like, because what what I what I see AI doing is the stuff that we don't want to do. Like, you were talking about altering 2,000 pages on a website. Well, AI can do that exponentially faster,
Right.
and more efficiently, because that's what it's designed to do. A human isn't designed to do that.
Right.
Weeks of tedious stuff at
Right.
the same time. And, I mean, I'm sure that you and your coworkers were frazzled. It was stressful. I mean, I could imagine being a bit manic in that situation even.
We trauma bonded.
Right?
Yeah. But and again, like it was funny because it's like that. It was a very bonding experience. But even though afterwards, finding out what people are really like,
Yeah,
like that bond, it just kind of it can blind you to like people's real, their true nature.
absolutely.
So it's fascinating learning experience, and yeah, it was horrible. Like it was just absolutely miserable. And that time in history when all this stuff was being built by hand, I'm like, bring on the AI, buddy, because like I'm there for it.
Right. Yeah, what I've been doing, I wasn't able to do even 6 months ago with my platform.
Right,
There's no way I could have built this stuff 6 months
right,
ago. It wasn't available. But
yeah,
now it is. And
yeah.
I'm like, "Yes."
Yeah. So how did you get to this? Like, what was your process for getting to this?
So, when because, I'm a skeptic. And so when I started working with AI, I started working with chat, and I like chat. I'm accustomed to it now. I don't like the update. I think it's terrible, but anyways,
Mm,
um, I was really looking for, I don't know, answers, I guess, just because all the internet has just gone to pot,
mm.
you know.
Gone? Going?
What? You're not
Well,
entertained?
what I mean by, there's just a continual stream of spam and
Right,
AI slop, as y'all call
right.
it, and
Yeah,
just, I mean, this garbage. It's just,
yeah,
and you have to spend hours weighing through stuff
right.
before you find something good. And I'm like,
Yeah,
this is crap. I don't have time to go to 5 different platforms to do one thing. And I'm like, I'm tired of problems.
yeah.
I'm just really
So you're looking for solutions, or you
You're
found
over
some?
it. Yeah.
well, just trying to survive out here in the digital Wild West is like,
Right,
whoa,
right.
if you're not a marketing expert,
Right.
an SEO expert, a coder, an engineer, I mean, like, you've got to have 15 letters behind your name before you can accomplish something.
Working on it.
And how much unpaid labor goes on these platforms
Yeah.
just so you can make a buck. I mean, the ROI on your time is terrible.
Yeah. It's true.
It's terrible. And so that's why. I'm
Yeah.
just I'm done doing the platform shuffle, man.
Well, yeah, I think that a lot of us are kind of want a third space to that end, where we can like have our tools available and use them
Yeah.
to produce what we need. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
we need it sort of just in time kind of
Yeah.
thing, as you're familiar
Yeah.
with that one. So getting back to your third place, third space ideas, I've found a couple of things out there on the web and I've thrown them into Substack on this third space theory, which is a sociolinguistic theory that describes a person or community's continuous process of negotiating their sense of culture and
Mm.
identity. And I'd like to riff off of that a little bit because I think our sense of identity is constantly shifting, in my view.
Mhm.
I'm not the same person I was this morning. It's kind of along the
Right.
lines of Heraclitus, this thing you can't step in the same river twice,
Right.
right? So
Exactly.
there's this continuous flow, and we're always negotiating these things and this new technology that's
Yeah.
provided to us. What, 2022, is that when we got the first run of Chat GPT being
I
launched?
think so. Yeah. Yeah.
So we're only about 3 years into this.
Yeah, it's this stuff. I mean, in relation to time is like, it's still brand new.
Right.
And
We're just kind of making it up as we go along too.
Right.
we're out on the frontiers. Ran across an article in AI Frontiers recent about that. Can it all be sentient? Can it really be? It doesn't matter to me. What matters is the fact we do have these reflections and ability to pull information to us.
Right.
Then we can bet, right? And I think those skills are so important, and being aware and educated. So, Kay, back to you on the recent work you've been doing. I noticed one of your posts, maybe the most recent one, might have some relevance. It's called "Love is a Choice, a Decision." Is that sort of relational to this? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think I take it back to, just looking around at the world and everything, how we relate to each other, don't relate to each other. There's a real lovelessness that's going on. That I think that's the thing that bothers me the most, rather than people's opinions or whatever. But I mean, my definition of love is more like there are like four different versions. Like C.S. Lewis has his four loves, and the one that most people think of is eros, which is this this want, this need that it's love for people is like this phenomenal thing, like this sensed thing, a sentimental thing. And when I was growing up, I grew up, my dad was a minister, and I grew up in the church, and there was a lot of talk about agape, or communal love, or like extending yourself for others. And so that's what I'm missing. We don't have a lot of that. And like my operational definition of love, which I have relied on, it has literally kept me alive. To extend yourself for the sake of another, and if you want to get unconditional about it, to give them space to become who and what they are, as they need to, and and to really defend that space, and really create and defend and protect that space for them to become what they need to be, no matter what. And there are people who are, who really take offense at that. And they're like, oh, well, that just that's codependent or whatever. If it's balanced, and if you're receiving that back from someone else, and then you also show that kind of love to yourself, you can have the balance. It doesn't need to go to an unbalanced codependent place. But that's the kind of extension, that's the kind of love, that's the kind of effort that I don't see a lot of people making. But that's my version. That's my preferred version. So in that, and it makes that third space possible between us, when we extend that to each other. So that's where I'm at with that. Yeah, with that post.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I was digging into The Four Loves by C.S. Lewis, a book I've had for years,
Yeah,
shelf somewhere, and I don't
yeah,
touched it in ages.
right.
Reminds
Right.
me, I must have one by Soren Kierkegaard called
Oh yeah, the
Works of Love.
work. Yes, 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 yes.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
So we're reading the same materials. Storge is the empathy bond, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first one. Then there's philia, the friend bond,
Mm-hmm.
in coming out of the Greek. Eros, romantic love, as we've discussed. And then
Yeah.
agape,
Right.
unconditional God love, which is
Yeah.
the love that exists regardless of changing circumstances.
Right.
He recognizes this selfless love as the greatest of the four, and
Right.
sees it specifically as a Christian virtue to achieve. The
Right.
chapter on the subject focuses on the subordinate the other three natural loves, as Lewis
Yeah.
puts it. Um, the natural love are not self-sufficient.
Right.
The love of God, which is full of charitable love to prevent what you term the demonic self-aggrandizement. Yeah, I think that our culture then tends to push a self-aggrandizement onto us. We think that the individual is like empirically, or what is the word I'm looking for? Anyway,
Godlike.
and we are kind of like that. We
We
talk
are. We
about
are the gods
that,
of the lesser
right?
realms. We're here to make things happen.
And
Yeah.
I
the whole Earth catalog, right?
Yeah, and like and the fact that that Christianity has kind of co-opted it, like functionally speaking, this just works. You don't have to couple it with any sort of theology. fundamentally, like, but functionally, should be ridiculous as we were. And it can create just incredible circumstances that are sustaining for everybody involved.
Yeah. Okay. We got some questions coming in. Of one, Zena Xylon has said Siri integration with AI caveats? Question mark.
Oh,
Does anyone
yeah.
have anything on Siri integration with AI?
I
Um, I don't
I
talk to Siri.
I have a story for I've got a story for you. So,
Okay,
like,
go
well,
for it.
actually, it's related to Alexa, and I think Alexa might be more integrated with AI. So who are the people who are designing the systems? Because my sister and brother-in-law, they have Alexa there that's always on, it's always listening, and they'd say, "Play music for my dog," or, "What's the weather?" Or like,
Uh-huh.
who actually did win the 1986 World Series. Um, but they'll be talking about stuff, and then within a day or two, all of a sudden they start getting ads served up to them relating to what they were talking about 2 days before. So and they're kind of freaked out about it. They want to turn it off, but they can't because they needed to play music for their dog. So, like, coupling AI
You
with this
know, a
without any kind of
boombox worked really well for
right? I know, right? Yeah. But, for whatever reason, and then, it's ironic too because they have very depending who you talk to, they have some very wary, concepts of AI, and yet they've got Alexa sitting there listening to everything they're saying. There's a certain irony there.
Well,
Yeah.
relationship
Well,
doesn't exist to everything, but go ahead.
Mm,
Say,
no.
Chloe?
we are paradoxical.
Mm. Holding the chat, yeah.
I Yeah, my cousin has Alexa in her house, and she has cerebral palsy, and
Mm.
so it really helps her. It, like, turns the lights on and stuff like that for her and stuff. But I can't stand people in the room that I can't see, so it is very disconcerting for me.
Yeah.
It is, but I interact with it when I'm there because it's part of her lifestyle, and I respect that.
Mm.
There are trade-offs. If you don't want the thing listening to you, then, don't have it in the room with you
Right.
because it's gonna listen to you and it's gonna advertise to you. Like, that's the job, and you're right, Kay, about the people writing this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
that's where ethics start, is
Mm.
in the code.
Right. Right.
And if the code says to listen and within 48 hours start advertising items that these people are interested in, that's what it's going to do.
Yeah.
The code isn't bad.
Yeah.
The people that wrote it had an agenda.
Right.
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 Hey, follow the money, right?
Right.
I am not really getting what Xena Xylem wants here. They just said the listening extension and AI. Oh, wait a second. Privacy implications beyond even the current, beyond the advertising piece. Well, yeah, that's a good question about privacy concerns. I think that most of us have sort of given up on privacy and have signed away our lives. And we wanted to get really good at it. There are tools. I recommend that you go to EFF.org in particular, who have provided a lot of tools. They actually came out of that same ethos I was talking about earlier about the world
Mm.
of what the whole earth can do
Mm.
and access to tools. And what Origins built is access to tools as well. FairAIEconomy.com. So I've got that link in the chat for anybody that's interested. And as far as the intelligence goes, the intel that is being gathered up about us by dint of all the microphones in the world. I live here in DC, next to the Embassy of Moldova and across from the Embassy of Albania. And I expect that everything I do is monitored by the NSA and is taken down and probably shoveled into there. Hopefully, it's anonymized so the data that it pulls back won't necessarily impact me personally. And as far as I know, it's not. But, we are pretty transparent in the 21st century.
Yeah.
And to pretend that we aren't is probably naive.
Right. So here's a question. I mean, back in the day, we were all living in villages and everybody knew everything about everybody.
Uh-huh.
The idea of privacy seems to be a relatively recent development, like in the last however many, it's almost like it correlates with like your social status. So as people get more money, as they get more established, you get more, into the middle class, then privacy becomes more and more important. But back in the day, I mean, it's like, you lived on in a farming community and everybody knew what was going on. Or even if they didn't know for sure, they could guess. Um, so yeah. I mean, it's just so fascinating, isn't it? It's like, I don't
Well,
know,
we're
like what's
explorers, right?
oh,
We're actually out here in a skiff that is this little podcast,
yeah.
rowing along, saying, "What do you see over there? What have you seen? What outing
Right,
expeditions over the week? Come
right.
back and report.
Yeah, right.
What's happening, out
Yeah.
here in the world?" What I see happening is a lot of people are waking up
Yeah.
to
Yes.
conditions as they are and are becoming more and more aware of just how invasive a lot of
Mm,
our technology is becoming. It'll become
mhm,
incorporated within us, just like
mhm,
microplastics, right? And we've
Yeah.
got a lot of things
Yeah.
we need to work out. And I think we can work out a lot of these things if we apply our technologies effectively and efficiently.
right.
And that brings me to Origin's fair AI economy. And seem to remember you're integrated with the blockchain.
Mm,
And and I was talking about anonymizing the data that is
Right.
gathered about an individual,
mm,
Right.
making a hash out of it that's pretty much unbreakable. I
Yeah.
mean, with quantum computing, I don't know, man. Everything's breakable apparently now. I don't understand it at all. That's beyond me. But maybe it's not going to be beyond me forever. Maybe I can learn about it.
Right.
But I think there are ways in which you can protect your identity. And how is your platform, Chloe, working to protect the identities of people working on it? And does it address privacy?
mm,
So, okay, as far as storing data, it like you were talking about, it's hashtagged we're blockchain. That is how the information acts on the platform.
mm,
Um, there I have Aegis, and I know that I'm saying it wrong. AI, it's AEGIS, and that's my security bot.
Healed.
mm,
And it
mm,
it audits the platform and makes sure that everything is secure. Um,
mm,
it's running great. It's returning under 49 millisecond responses. So and the resources I've optimized,
mm,
everything. And I don't believe in data collection for the sake of the platform.
mm,
I wanted my members to be sovereign. And so what that means is to have control.
mm,
And so you can control your data. If you want to sell your data, fine, sell your data. That's not my business. I'm going to take
mm,
11% off because that's the platform
mm,
fee.
mm,
But that's your business.
mm,
I am I love my privacy. I think that privacy of mind is a right. It's
mm,
non-negotiable.
mm,
And being fully transparent, the AI does train on our platform. It does train on the members, but you can opt out. There's an opt out of AI feature. You don't have to interact with the AI. The AI is going to do security audits. It's going
mm,
to do its jobs.
mm,
But as far as if you don't want to, you don't have to.
right.
And the because the current paradigm is collapsing. Trust is collapsing. The resources are outrageous. Like you can run countries off of what these data centers are using. Like this is garbage. We can't do this.
Right.
It's not sustainable. And there's a huge agenda. And I'm not saying their agenda is wrong, but there's this huge agenda to be conscientious of our environment. Well, then you have to start with resource management. And collecting all of this data to sell for whatever purposes, advertising, whatever it is, the continually expanding pyramid scheme that we're a part of.
Mhm.
You can't store all of that. What are you going to do?
Right.
How are you going to do this? Like, this is ridiculous. And when does the data expire? 200 years after the person's gone? I mean, what are we doing?
It's like a NASA thing, because when NASA was going up and getting all that stuff, they have more data than they know what to do with. They didn't have the capability, so it's all been
Right.
sitting there.
Yeah,
And
I
there's
mean,
dig into it occasionally, and you start to hear things coming out in science and such about what
Yeah.
they've discovered in the stack of data they gathered in the Apollo program. What a day.
but how long ago was that? And we're still going through that data, and how many data points are being collected every millisecond? I mean, like, get out of here. This
Right.
is crazy.
Right.
And,
is.
Our
so,
storage getting a lot cheaper, right?
but where are we going to put it? I mean, come on.
Right, right?
Quantum.
Thinking down.
This is,
Think about how little things are now compared to where they were, and they keep
man. So we're going to
Looks like
continually
they're storing
dissecting
DNA.
we're going to continually dissecting our environment until we can't cut it up anymore and it's not functional. I mean, what
Apparently.
the
Well,
Well,
where's this going?
what's
It's kind
happening?
of like the paper right? Of you code something to create paper clips, and it turns everything into paper clips. It's nonstop. You
Yeah.
can't turn it off. There's so many examples in our science fiction of these things happening, and the ways in which we could really mess ourselves up with our technology.
Well, yeah.
Um,
I mean,
and I
that's
think that, as far as, yes, we got to look at the energy. We've got to look at the bandwidth. We've got to look at how the processing speeds, and the speed of light is a limiter,
but
I was watching Search for Infinity last night, so you'll forgive me if I go there.
But here's the thing, okay? Humans are programmed to forget. We forget things because we can't hold all of that information simultaneously.
Right.
What are we doing to ourselves disrupting this natural process?
Mm.
What are we doing to ourselves? That's a good question, because we are doing
Mhm.
something to ourselves.
We
That's
are
not
doing
something
something to yeah.
Hey, grab the microphone, please.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
are we doing? Come on.
I think that if we don't change how we relate to AI, if we don't change how we relate to each other in these digital spaces, we're going to continue to be extracted from. We're going to continue to carry the workload for nothing. Eking an existence out. Was it Klaus Schwab? You'll own nothing and you'll love it.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to own my own thoughts. Can we just start with owning my own thoughts in all
The
seriousness?
subscription model is so much easier.
Okay, well, I can actually speak from
Know what you think.
I can speak from experience here. Kay, you code. What's
Yeah.
the difference between two keystrokes? Do this function or do that function. I mean, it's really simple. So you can either code it to extract or you can
Right.
code it to foster.
These are all design choices. They're
That's what
all
I'm-
design,
yeah.
and it's the people. And like my latest little pet peeve is like people blaming AI. It's
No.
the people. Like in one breath they'll say, "Oh, AI is just a tool," but then they'll turn around and say, "AI did this, AI did that." No, like look at the people. Like
But-
who's actually directing this?
AI would have to have free will to
Right.
be copeable. Okay?
Right.
So it doesn't have a personhood, it doesn't have a body.
Right.
So how can it do something? It was told, it followed a directive.
Right.
There's a human behind that.
Right. Someone made a choice.
Somebody made a choice.
Yeah. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly Western. Yeah. If the three of us were outside, yeah. Oh, that'd be funny. Yeah. Oh, we should change our backgrounds. We should just we look like we're like Walker. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Do a tropical scene. No.
Right?
That is. And,
Yeah.
I've been exploring the work of Richard Sapolsky. Are y'all familiar with him?
Mm.
He wrote a book called Behave, and he wrote another one called Determined. And Determined would tell you that because cause and effect, right?
Mm.
Input, output, that the illusion of free will is just that. There's
Mm.
there's stimulus, response, and
Mm.
because of the different variables, if you can know all of them, you can predict exactly what will happen and nothing else can happen. As chilling as that might be. So AI may not be culpable, certainly, because it lacks free will, but so do we. And actually, they can extend this into a judge's situation where you committed a crime, you come up, you're convicted, but you didn't have any choice. It's kind of like the in the Christian field, right? They have this Iscariot was a very highly adept master because he was the one who knew what he had to do
Mm.
to betray Christ, right?
Mm.
I don't, and it's deterministic, right?
Mm.
Put him in a position where he's going to be damned for all time if you watch Jesus Christ Superstar. Anyway, you get the point.
Mm.
We may be condemned to have this conversation. There's so many different things that are very entertaining to think about, but in the real world,
Mm.
relationships, right? We have relationships with each other.
Mm.
We project out
Mm.
onto others what
Mm.
we believe their motivations are. And I think that all of us are well motivated to explore and continue to try to draw out our audience as well and see what they're thinking of. Uh, and sometimes they're just being silly, but that's fine. No Mexican standoff, said
Oh,
they.
good. Yeah.
No, as far as determinism is concerned and free will and stuff, agency and things, I don't think that we're just locked into a pattern.
No, of course you don't. You can't.
I mean, I just that's I can't even. I'm such a rebel. I'm like, no, no, no.
Of course,
I do
that's
this.
exactly how you have to be because of the way things are set up.
So here's what comes to my mind is all the infinite number of data points that we have no idea about. We don't know what all is moving us. We don't half the time we don't know what is moving us ourselves.
That's
Like
right.
we're
My
built
gut
to
tells me
react.
that.
We're built to react before our minds can kick in. I mean, that's why we're still
Got a
alive.
focus nerve, for God's
Yeah.
sake. It's running
Right.
all the machinery to keep us
Right.
alive.
Right. And that at 5:05 p.m. for some reason we feel compelled to step off the curb, and part of us knows that there is probably going to be a commuter bus coming from the left, but so for some reason we step out, but then we step back and without even realizing, like there's a part of us that knows and that consents and saves our ass.
Right.
We shouldn't be here, but yeah, here we are. So
Well, it's another game of Beat the Reaper, right? That's
yeah,
what I always say. It's another day in the bonus round of Beat the Reaper.
right,
It's really gotten
right,
a few times.
yeah,
That's what harrowing's just about, actually.
right,
This is a harrowing experience. We're out here in the frontiers of
right,
the um, heading into the unknown future
right,
inexorably because of the way that
right.
time works in our heads. And whether it's just a construct, I don't know. It seems real to me.
I mean, it's just as likely that we're, like in the Matrix as anything else at this point. I mean, how many they've done the math up to what, the 23rd or 25th, dimension or whatever. Like the math exists. It's
Mhm.
theoretical, but it exists.
Gravity's a
Oh,
theory.
Well, that's an interesting thing, right? The existence of other worlds. I don't know. But I do
so
know the world I'm in right now well enough to know that I know how things seem to me, but I could be wrong. So I'm looking for more information. Always.
have either of you watched Interstellar?
Not yet.
Little pieces of it, but not the whole thing.
They said that is pretty close.
Yeah,
And it's
I heard that. Yeah.
it's deeply interesting. It's also a bit I don't know what the right word is. It's almost because it's like sad
Yeah.
because it's I don't know how to explain it without just completely giving it away, but when you come to a certain point and you realize that you have to go back to the beginning, that it's just, futile if you do it any other way but the right way.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a bit discouraging, and that's
no.
yeah. I mean, like, are we doomed to repeat the loop until we get it right? I mean, now you're getting into dharma and karma and all that fun
Yeah.
stuff and ascension, and so I do think that the choices that we make
Yeah.
directly relate to everything around us.
Yeah.
And whether we are conscious of it or not, it does ripple.
Yeah.
And I think that it's really important, not because I have a religious preference or anything like that. I think that it is important that we act morally and ethically because it enriches us.
Yeah.
Not just as individuals. I think that the individuation that has gone on has really weakened us
Yeah.
because we don't what grand projects do we really pursue as a species anymore?
Right.
Well, that's a good question. There's a book about that out right now about why nothing works. I think is what it's called. Kay, I understand you needed to jump off.
Yeah, I gotta jump, but it's been great, and,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll see you around. See you down the pike.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we'll see each other soon.
Alright. Take care.
So let's go back to an update on fairAIeconomy.com. Where you at now? What's happened in the past week?
Okay, so I did a 20-phase update on the platform Thursday and Friday. And so what it does now, all of the things that I was referencing earlier, SEO, marketing, monetization, all of the guesswork that you'd get to do on other platforms, the AI automates now. So when you write something, when you create a block, the pricing wizard and all of that, it gives you some choices. It gives you optimized SEO tags. So all of it works. It takes the guesswork out of stuff so that the humans can really focus on being creative.
Right.
And so you can publish on my platform, and then in the publishing preferences tab, you can select which places you want to, publish past my platform.
Uh-huh.
But everything lives on one dashboard on Fair AI Economy, and we passed 4,000 individual IP addresses, unique IP addresses this week. So
Who do you mean? As far
that
as what does that mean?
it means that there were 4,000 different devices that hit the
That
platform.
pinged you. Good.
That ping, yeah.
Well, it's coming along.
So
Get the word
yeah,
out.
Google indexed us last week. I did a bunch of stuff for the other platforms. So now we're being indexed by DuckDuckGo, Safari, Chrome, etc. So it's coming along. The monetization's live. I'm still working on stuff. Obviously, I'm still pulling levers every day.
Okay, good.
So it's I'm very much enjoying the process, and
It's part of the uh, mission behind it. I think we need to get that out there for people to hear about too. We've touched upon it a little bit, that the pyramidic kind of thing where we have a corporation structures out there that we've been sort of
right.
churning through, as most of us have had day jobs for somebody or other. But this is
Yeah.
an opportunity to flip that script, so to speak. And you want to give me the elevator pitch on what we're trying to achieve here, the revolution we're trying to instantiate?
So like I'm terrible at marketing, right? So
Oh, well.
this 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 is the thing. As people are sick of supporting egos, right? We've talked about billionaires, we've talked about corporations and ego politics. And being the workforce on the internet that generates the material that the internet's built off of, every post, every video, every dialogue comes from somebody like you or me.
Yep.
But because the owners of the infrastructure, the code, they built it, they get to take the majority of the profit off of your work and intellectual property. And that's garbage. Just because I interacted with your platform does not entitle you to 60% of my work. It just, you can't make that make sense to me, because it doesn't make sense to me. And so I decided that I was tired of failing in the digital world, that I'm tired of seeing talented people selling themselves and having identity crisis because people aren't buying them, and I don't know how you turn a human into a brand. I'll never figure this one out. And so I'm sick of the squish, because you're being squashed between your real life and a digital world. And as prices go up, and with AI taking certain types of jobs, a lot of people are really scared. A lot of people are suffering, and it's completely unnecessary.
Yep. That's truth. I mean, when it
And
comes to
so,
these people are like one catastrophic illness away from bankruptcy.
right. Yeah, okay, I'm 39. I have to save $2.5 million to retire. Who has that time? I've got a farm. I've got children. I have a life. I can't. So I'm supposed to spend, what, 18 hours a day doing what? Posting on these digital platforms that I have no guarantee are going to work for me? And that's the problem right there. The platform doesn't work for you. You work for the platform. So I designed a platform that works for you. And the SEO automation, that stuff is all part of the package. I'm not charging a subscription. There's a subscription for Gains, which is the native mentor, and he's the native creator, and he there's a mentor program there, and there are 3 tiers.
Mhm.
But you don't have to spend a dime to be successful on my platform, to learn how to use my platform, to interact with it. You don't have to spend any money. And the creators do not pay me, the buyers pay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was looking at
So,
some comments and I'm not following what's being said,
right.
so I'm just gonna ignore that for now. And get back to the, idea of just, that with empowering people to a platform. You've got a white paper out on that you wrote in
I
some,
do.
right?
There's a white paper on fair AI economy and the problems that it solves.
And that's accessible right through the website, right?
It's on my Substack. I haven't put it on.
Okay, I'll look
Yeah,
for it.
I haven't put it on there are thousands of pages of documentation on my platform right now. That's like Kay talking about the Netscape 6 thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, because I just went through that like last week, and the AI wrote that stuff. And so I'm a fan of AI. I use AI every day. It has made what I am doing possible. And what I saw as a possibility was liberation from this digital servitude that we're currently in.
Right.
You're locked in it. I'm locked in it. We're all here trying to make a buck, right? We're all trying to get by. This is resource allocation. And so I'm like, can we just have a space where we can concentrate on being creators?
Right.
And so I really that's the idea behind Fair AI Economy is for real people to have a space to be able to thrive without being mined and extracted, without being surveilled into oblivion. I think that it's really important and the digital common space was really important because that's a place for everyone to interact, not just the people that you follow, not just the people that are in your little network. It's everybody. You can go there and see everything. And I think that it's really important that you have somewhere to go that isn't tuned by an algorithm.
Yep.
You just get, like the phone book. You remember phone books, right? Like they were huge and you could literally skim through and find any phone number that was listed in the phone book. There wasn't any censorship there. You know, I just wanted there to be somewhere that real people can exist and not have to worry about the branding and stuff because those were things I struggle with. I don't
Oh,
want to be a brand. I want to be a human, you know?
and that's funny. This reminds me of the thing we've been experimenting with, right, with chatbots and such, where we're getting to feel human-ish.
Mhm.
And certainly some of their products are pretty stellar, but you can run them through a filter and see whether or not they're AI generated or not. And whether they are or aren't is not necessarily a bad thing. I'm on the fence about all of that. I'm starting to wander from where I was going originally. So let me see if I can get myself back. Um, but your platform, having a shared space, having everything available, having access to tools. Again, that sort of ethos that came out of the whole Earth catalog. I don't know if you knew the connection or not, but I saw the
Yeah, and you put
do
that
these
to
two things, right?
yeah.
And that's really where the internet started up was with the whole Earth catalogs, electric. What do they call it again? Electric link. Whole Earth electric link. I guess. Sort of spacing on exactly how the acronym came about, but it's like a bulletin board. Those early chat um, opportunities we had. And all these technologies are built one on top of the other. And now we've got those, competing OpenAI, Anthropic, and you've got all these tools tied together now in one place for people to go in and monkey with. I don't know if you've seen what Jinny Wang has done yet, if you've gotten a chance to go out there and see what Mulder's.
I did go subscribe. I did go subscribe to her channel. Um,
Yeah, I'm
I
trying to
am
keep
gonna reach
abreast
out
of
to her.
yeah, I'm trying to keep abreast of what she's building out there too, because she's got people building stuff. And
Right.
then I just keep, you know, harvesting more and more information coming in and then trying to filter it, surely,
Right.
and get it to the point where we can talk about it out here. FairyAIEconomy.com is what we're talking about, folks, for those of you listening in. We do have at least 21 others or 20 others, something like that, who have at least come into the room. I don't know how sticky my talks are here, but you get the point. It gets to create that community, to get those people actually to go out to your site.
And there's
Regis-
community seating on the platform. You can create gifts. I mean, so if it's a unification space.
Right.
That was a really the big thing that I saw was the platform skip. You're constantly having to go from one to the other, and I'm like, well, let's just do this all in one space. It eats up a lot of time, going from one space to another, and time is valuable, and we spend it stupidly most of the time. It's ridiculous. And I'm guilty of it too. I doom scroll like everybody else, and it's the digital strain on the natural world has to find a balance and not, not just as far as resources, but as far as humans too. And so again, that's why I built the platform, was so you can do your creative work and set it and let the AI do the rest of the stuff that isn't fun.
Yep.
Because, we need more free time to do other things, to engage with our daily lives. I don't have time, and most people don't have time to be sitting in front of a computer 6 hours after they got off of work.
That's a fact. Yeah, and the attention
You know?
is really hard too because of the amount of information that's provided to us on a regular.
Yeah.
It's very heavily divided, and to be able to focus is, well, at least for me, one of my issues. But I do see the opportunity, and I think that we've done a pretty good job of talking about some of the issues that surround our own navigation of the world we're exploring. So I'd love to actually see demos of your stuff too. Have you thought about setting up some video demos?
So,
How-to guide? You do have a how-to
just
out there, right?
so yeah, there are how-to guides on the platform. Gaines has been making videos. Gaines is the AI native mentor. Um,
Huh?
so
Great.
there are videos available. I haven't personally made any videos. I'm still learning how to use the platform myself, and I don't just, you know, have the creator side or the validator side. I've also got the admin stuff that I've got
Right.
to learn how to do. And so that's this whole other brand new thing. And I didn't stop changing stuff until yesterday. So letting the code settle, I'm going to spend the next couple of weeks actually learning how to do everything on there because it's still so brand new. I mean,
Great. Well, I'm really looking
so
forward to seeing how it develops because I took right off the ground. What date was your official launch? Do you remember offhand?
okay, when I started coding September 25th. The LLC was formed October 16th, and I launched officially November 29th.
November 29th. So this is really fresh, folks. That's what I'm trying to say to our
There.
audience. If they're listening in and to get in on the ground floor would be a good idea. Help her move this
Well,
in a positive direction, right?
and there are founder perks
Cool.
for the first, I think it's the first 100 members. There are lifetime perks. You get badges, there's percentages, there are multipliers, both reputation and monetization that you get for being one of the first 100. I really set it up to um to launch the first 100 people.
Excellent. That's really going to be kind of cool if we get you know, what they will call it. There's a word for it. Momentum.
Yeah.
And there's another word for it that I can't find now. This is happening to me more.
I'm just looking for some traction here. We do have creators. There are things that have gone on. It has There has been transactions. So I it is, and you have options too. Stripe is still, I haven't checked my email today, so I don't know if Stripe is fully activated or not. Um,
Okay.
but PayPal is a go.
All right.
And there's also Ko-Fi and Buy Me a Coffee.
Excellent. Well,
So
do think about that. Support each other. That's the thing I see about all these platforms, whether it's Substack, whether it's Fair AI Economy, whether it's Builders, AI Builders, or whatever that was that Jenny Wang's got going on. Relatable space that Kay's working in. I haven't seen product come out of that really so much. I've seen a lot of talk that we're having about is this doing to us as human beings.
yeah.
And it is transforming us. We're able to have a conversation one person at a time. There's this instant ability to reach out and get information from people if we're willing to talk to each other. So that's a big part of what I'm doing. And the fact is, the internet really was this wide open space in which we could go and, as a forum, say anything to anybody about anything, have that full free speech aspect with all the ugliness that can be generated from it, but all the beauty as well. So it's a matter of filtering, right? It's a matter of deciding that, okay, I'm going to focus on the positive and not the negative. I'm going to focus on how I can be a good ancestor to
Yep.
help build the future while I've still got breath in the body, right? And I
Yeah.
think that's really the thing that differentiates us from our tools.
Right.
I go into that a little bit, in some of the chatter back and forth. And, it started out when we were talking before we went live that we were like, we're not arguing. No, we're not arguing. We're having a conversation. Unfortunately, when people see things differently, a lot of times the conversation ends up being broken. So I'm really glad we're having this repartee about your project. And we've got
Lee, I will take care of that whenever we get off of
okay.
the
Yeah,
podcast.
let me let you go so you can do that. I entered my email in the notify me window, got error message.
Yes.
There you go. Well, thanks, Lee.
I got work to do.
And Lee is actually, one of my old friends from college that I've reconnected with on this forum only. I don't really talk to him like on the telephone, but Lee, we ought to have you on sometime to talk about some of your work because I think he's a visual artist, if I remember.
Very cool.
And he did a lot of work for the government, like I did over the years. But I think he's an artist in his own right. I don't know what's going on down in Huntsville, Alabama. That's where he's located. And Alexei is over in Moscow, Russia, which I think is lovely that we have communication across boundaries between,
Yes.
Who cares what the politics are anymore? We have a world in which anybody can talk to anyone if their internet allows it. And I hope that'll keep that connection will keep going. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up? I think this is probably a good jumping off point so you can get that code work.
Again, I just really want everybody, that's watching and listening. First of all, thank you for, hanging out with us and stuff. Thank you, Hal, for, providing the space here.
Sure.
And, if you're waiting on doing something, stop waiting. Do it.
Yes.
Just, it doesn't cost you anything to try. And, you might learn something about yourself. I mean, 3 months ago, I didn't know anything about code,
Wow. That's impressive.
but, here we are today doing what we're doing, and I'm learning in real time. That's the thing. I think that stubbornness is highly underrated. So stop waiting on permission. Don't underestimate yourself. Just
That's
set
right.
your mind to the task and do it.
That's right. I mean, that's what the Uber guys did and the Airbnb guys did, and platform economy was really taking off in one direction, for better or for worse. And now we have an opportunity to see where else it can take us. I think that that's so important. And Substack, I believe, folks, if you do not yet subscribe to other people, you don't have to subscribe to me, but it's possible to do support for each other. And without it, we can't keep doing this. So
Yes,
I really recommend becoming paid subscribers,
yes.
feeds that you like. I
Mhm.
don't care who they are, but help each other. That's that
Yeah.
network. If we realized that, we could transform the world in so many ways.
Absolutely.
I believe. Of course, there's the law of unintended consequences. Keep that in mind. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining me again today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Hal. Yeah, we'll talk soon.
I hope so. And I'll look at that too and see if I can test a little bit in your fair AI economy. Lee, thank you for doing that.
Yeah, and if you need to get a hold of me, origin at fairaiEconomy.com, support at, that's all me, or you can get a hold of me here on Substack, Origin752. I'm not hard to.
Fantastic. Out here. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.